Shalom Aleichem. Welcome to a program. Our program is called Meaningful Interviews. I search for people who are meaningful and I interview them, hence Meaningful Interviews.
Okay.
So coming here to Boca, I met you about a year ago,
Yes.
and I saw you in shul last night, and I thought it would be wonderful to interview Rabbi Shmuel Fox.
Right.
Reb Shmuel was the Rav in a shul. What was the name of the shul?
It's called Beis Yaakov. Beis Yaakov.
Beis Yaakov in Dayton, Ohio,
Right.
for over 60 years.
Right.
So I want to go back to kind of the beginning and even your childhood, whatever you remember, because people will find this fascinating. Knei
Yeah.
Nehara, the Eibishter bench you with Arichas Yomim and continued Arichas Yomim, good,
you.
healthy life.
Thank you.
And it's not every day that we have the privilege of interviewing someone who,
It's up in years.
up in years, Baba Yomim. Zoke
Baba
Baba Yomim.
Avram Aviv.
Yeah, Avram Baba Yomim. So tell me where you were born.
Yeah. I was born in a klein shtetl in Poland called Lokach. I spell it different spellings. Locatze.
Yeah.
Lokach, Poland.
Where was that
Right.
nearest to Krakow or Lodz?
Well, they call it Valina Geborna.
Of Valina Bogobor, but which larger city that people know? Was it the Krakow, Varsha, or Lodz?
I would say maybe not too far from Varsha.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you were born there in what year?
Well, he goes back to
1920, 22? 1924.
Right.
You were born in 1924. Okay. So how long you went to Cheder there? You went to a Cheder, a yeshiva?
No, probably home learning.
Home learning.
My father,
Your father was a chassid or a litvak? Or a stamayid?
well, when he came to America, he had smichas rabbonos. So he came as a rabbi, from Poland.
From Poland.
With drei Kinderlach.
Mit drei Kinderlach.
Yeah, three, right.
And you're one of the three.
Two boys and the girl, and I was the oldest.
Right.
The others are about 2 years apart.
Right. But what I'm asking is, do you know if he came from Hasidim or not? Your Zayda was a Chassid?
Well, Rabbi Twersky, for instance, the Twersky family.
Yeah, what about them?
In Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Yes.
When we came, he was the Rabbi
He was the Rebbe in Milwaukee.
in Milwaukee.
No,
right?
I'm asking in Poland, were
Yeah.
your father and grandfather, were they Hasidim?
Little boy came over when he was
Yeah.
I know that.
Yeah,
I'm asking
yeah.
about his grandfather. Did they come from Hasidim? Do you have any idea?
Possibly my Zayde, I vaguely remember. Baruch was a big Talmid Chacham. He was part of the city, and
He was part of what?
the Bezdin that they had.
Uh-huh.
Part of Bezdin, he was held as a choshever person.
Uh-huh. Okay.
In the family of Shochtim.
Family of Shochtim.
Yeah, a number of Shochtim in the family.
And when did you come over to America? Like, do you remember what year? 1929?
It was something like that. I think the year was 1929.
29. Oh, I got it right. So you were 5 years old at the time.
Right.
Okay. Where did you all come to? To Ohio?
Milwaukee, Wisconsin. To Milwaukee,
Wisconsin.
We had an uncle there. Right to Bloom. Bloom, he was a shoichet
Uh-huh.
there. And when my father came, he came as the Rav in the Shul Besmedrash Agodol.
In Medrash HaGodol in Milwaukee.
Milwaukee, Wisconsin, right.
Uh-huh.
He was not what you call a rabbi in today's sense. He's not
He was a reverend. They called him a reverend in those days, no?
A
Shoichet, a Malamed, a Balkoire.
Balkoire, that's right.
Right. They
That's
called him a
right.
reverend in those days, I believe.
Yeah.
Right. Believe me, they could be today's rabbis.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Oh, yeah. Yes, right.
So At what age did you went to college? You went to there was no yeshiva then, right?
No.
So you went to public school, right?
to public school.
And from there you went to university?
Well, I went to yeshiva in Chicago. I and my brother. Interesting story.
Yeah, which yeshiva? To the Telzi yeshiva?
No.
No, Beshmedrash Rabbonim?
Beshmedrash Torah.
Torah, Beshmedrash Torah.
Right.
Right. What year? Probably in the 1935 to 40, right?
Yes.
Okay. What was the story you wanted to tell me?
Yeah. The story is that how we got to go to the yeshiva.
Yeah.
How we got our education. There was no yeshiva at that time in Dayton.
Right.
There was no yeshiva there
In Milwaukee.
Right. So, and my father said we're going to visit an uncle. My mother had a stepbrother living in Chicago.
Uh-huh.
So he was going to take us to visit my uncle.
Right.
In the grocery business.
Okay.
Right. So he took us there. We visited him for a short time. Then he said we have another visit to make. And the other visit was a surprise to us. When I say we, my brother and I, my brother was 2 years younger.
Right.
I was at the time, let's say, 14 years old, and my brother was 12 years old.
Okay.
Right. And the man we arranged to visit was at the Chicago Yeshiva B'Smedrash Torah.
Right.
And it was the dean, Rabbi Greenberg.
Rabbi Greenberg.
Rabbi Yaakov Greenberg.
Okay.
Right. He was well known, in Chicago. He was a big Talmid Chacham. He was the dean
Okay.
of the Yeshiva, the head man, the one who hired other.
Right. Yes.
Yes. So at any rate, he gave us an interview.
Right. Your brother and you.
Right. And the interview, right, was on Chumash and Rashi. That was our interview for the yeshiva.
Yes.
Right. And remember, it seems like we did quite well in the interview. And I remember when I wanted to say, well, can we take a look in the Rashi? He said, no, it's not necessary to look inside. So I said, oisios machkimos. I said to him, when you look inside. So he says, oisios machkimos, so you should know it Balpeh.
Yeah.
That was his answer. Yeah, so anyhow, we went down. I did not look inside. And he questioned us, and we said, fine. He said, okay, we qualified. We knew Rashi quite well at that age.
And that's how you went into the yeshiva.
Yeah, so he said,
That was a surprise.
a big surprise because we had no baggage.
Right.
There was nothing to indicate that we're going to remain there overnight. And besides, they didn't have any dormitories at that time, B'Smedrash Torah. So the Rav Rabbi Greenberg, Zichrono Livracha, said he'll arrange for everything.
Mm-hmm.
He arranged where we should stay and where we would board.
At someone's house.
Yes, at someone's house, right. So that's it. So he left. My father left. He said, "You'll have clothing. Will be coming to you." So you can imagine for my younger brother, it seemed to be a trauma.
Right.
But to me, it didn't seem to faze me too much. No, I took it. In fact, I calmed him, so it was good that we went together. So at any rate, that was the start.
That was the start of your learning.
Yeah, with
right. You came anakater. You came like naked, anakater.
Without
clothing, without background. Yeah.
Right. That's how I got.
Rabbi Greenberg was a Slabotka Talmud. Do you recall? Was he from Slabotka?
No, my father-in-law was, though. That was a Talmud from Slabotka. Yeah, so Rabbi, they had their Rabbi Star.
Yes, I've heard of Rabbi Star.
He was the oldest serving rabbi there. I think he had been there over...
At the Bishmedrash, right.
Right, I think over 60 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so from there...
He was from Slabotka.
He was from Slabotka, Rabbi Star. So from there you went on to...
There I studied their high school. They had a yeshiva high school, and they had high school. I went on to high school in Chicago, and college. Then later I I went to New York.
Which university?
University. I went
Have a
to.
law degree.
Oh yeah, I got a law degree.
From which?
DePaul University.
Uh-huh.
I got a law degree from there, and then I also did studies at Columbia University.
Uh-huh.
Graduate
Did you at all study with the Rav, Rabbi Soloveitchik?
Did I? I heard shiurim from him.
While you were studying at university?
While I was studying in Chicago, Spanish Torah.
No, I'm not talking about Rabbi Aaron Soloveitchik. I'm talking about Rabbi Yasha Ber and Yosef Ber.
Yeah,
Ber Soloveitchik.
Right, I heard from Yasha Ber.
You did hear shiurim?
Sure.
Where? In New York?
In New York.
When you were studying at university, you used to go over to Yeshiva University?
University, right.
To Yeshiva Rabbi Yitzchak Chanan.
Yeah.
What'd you think of his shiurim?
Very long for one thing, and I try to understand as much as I could. Mm-hmm. Right.
You had.
He would like to speak. Oftentimes, he would say, I imagine he was giving it a lot of time. So we say, "Eder geht reden, weil sagen ein paar Wörter."
And the poor Beth is gegangen for 2-3 shows.
Yeah, right. We can hold up longer, right?
Right.
So it should not be included. The time allotted to should not be included in starting from the very beginning.
Right. Did you have a closer relationship with his brother, Reb Aaron, being that you were closer in the Midwest?
No, Reb Aaron, of course, taught at our yeshiva for a while, and then he broke away and he started his own yeshiva.
The Brisk Yeshiva?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
He started there, and in fact, he tried to convince us to go to his yeshiva.
Uh-huh.
But we were loyal to the Spanish Torah, so we remained there.
Right. A question I have is, at what point did you decide you want to be a Rav, a rabbi?
Well,
because you said you had a law degree.
I had a law degree.
Were you practicing law at any time?
No, I didn't officially practice.
So why did you get a law degree? Because you
Well,
thought you wanted to be a lawyer?
I thought as a backup.
As a backup, you'll have a parnasa through being a lawyer.
Being a lawyer, right. It seemed more promising
right.
from a financial standpoint.
So,
law
so what made you decide to go into the rabbinate?
One thing my rabbonim that Rabbi I had with, I thought I would be very suitable as a rabbi. They talked me into it. Go into the rabbonis right away. They gave me stellas as a talmid. For instance, a talmid I had, they gave me a Stella in New York, in Chicago, one of the largest there. They had about, for the Yom and the Rav there, abruptly, let's say.
A Rav abruptly left?
Left, right, a large community.
Which shul, do you remember? Because there was a big Rav, Rabbi Ephraim Fischel, the Rashiv of Slabotka, of Kamenetz. The last, Epstein. Moshe Mordcha Epstein's brother, Rabbi Ephraim Fischel, was a Rav in Chicago for 60 years. You knew him?
I knew him, and it was a big shul there.
Yeah, that was called the Rosh Shul, the remains.
Yeah, right.
Am I right?
You're right.
The Rosh Shul. Right. So he was a Litvisher, Adamah Litvisher.
Yeah, yes.
But he had a very good relationship with the Rayatz of Yosef Yitzchak, the sixth Rebbe. He was close to him, and he supported him. He sent money to him.
Yeah, I remember he was very stately and very proper.
Yeah, he was, I think, a Slabotka Talmud. His brother was a Rosh Hashiva in Slabotka. The Slabotka, they were very proper, a tie and
he was very proper.
Yeah,
right,
but that wasn't the shul that you were given as a stella.
No. It was a shul in North Chicago. They had about, I don't know, maybe about 1,500 people or something.
So you became the Rav?
No.
Oh, you were offered the job, but you didn't take it?
No. I was still a student, and I was offered for the Yom and Aroy.
Oh, to go there as a Rav, a rabbi for the Yom and Aroy. Yeah.
Right, and I think one of the reasons, but this is my own thinking, that one of the reasons was they had a lot of Russish there at that shul, and they wanted a Yiddish Rosh too, and I was able to accommodate them.
So you speak Yiddish fluently?
I spoke it, let's say, fairly well.
Very well.
Yeah.
Right. So where did you end up taking a pulpit? Because what was your first stella? The one
Right.
in Dayton. That's the only shul you had.
And no, I had one in Little Rock, Arkansas was my first stella. Little Rock, Arkansas.
There were a lot of Frum Yidden there.
Well, they had a number. I wouldn't say a lot of Frum Eden. In Little Rock, and I had a congregation there, my first congregation.
What year are you talking about?
120 people, and I think it was about
1950.
yes,
1950 about.
about right.
So
And how did I get there?
yeah.
Because the similar thing happened where the dean of my yeshiva, they had a call from a hotel in Hot Springs, saying they want somebody to conduct a seder, or siddur, let's say, for Pesach.
Yeah.
And the dean said, and I'd like you to go there.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So there I said, I said, yeah, I'll take it. Anyhow, from there, one of the Balabatim from Little Rock is the capital
Of Arkansas.
right? Not far from
Hot Springs.
Hot Springs, right? So one of the Balabatim was there,
Right.
and just at that time they were looking for
A Rav.
right? In
Little Rock.
that's right, in Little Rock, and he recommended me to them on the basis of hearing me conduct the Sidorian and speaking there. So
Okay. How many years were you there?
Little Rock, I say maybe about 3-4 years.
3-4 years.
Yes.
And
And then my wife's
when did you marry? What year did you marry?
married.
I'm saying you were
Yeah.
married when you went to Little Rock. Were you married already?
No.
So when did you get married?
I got married to, was it?
54, 55?
Right. Mayor.
Okay, when she comes
Yeah.
back, we'll ask her. But
Okay.
when you go ahead. So what happened when you?
Yeah.
Why'd you leave Little Rock and you went to Dayton? What
Yeah,
happened?
yeah. Because her parents lived in Cincinnati.
Ah,
And he heard there was a Stella opening in Dayton.
who heard? Her father.
Her father, right?
What was her father's name?
So his name Rapachevsky, Ben Sion Pachevsky. He was a Slobodka. He was a Talmud.
Uh-huh.
Slobodka, and he worked together with Rabbi Eliezer Silver.
Silver. All right, Silver.
Yeah,
Silver.
so, I got to know Rabbi Eliezer Silver very well.
You did?
Yes.
Tell me for a moment. What were your impressions of Eliezer Silver?
Big Talmud Chacham.
Yeah, but
But sharp, he would take no nonsense.
yeah, very sharp, very
Yeah.
sharp, right?
No nonsense. If you spoke out of turn or something, you would hear from him.
Right, he let you have it.
Sharp tongue. Okay. Yeah. It's a big Talmud Chacham,
But he was a very big activist
Yeah, big activist. He was the head of the
Agudas Rabbanim.
Rabbanim. Later on, he became active in saving Jews.
Yes.
Very active. They sent him to Europe. And if you want to hear a Meisel about him,
Yeah.
Going to Europe, the story was he went to one of the convents. Their sisters.
Yeah.
Running the convent. He says he wants to see the Jewish.
The children.
Because many parents would leave their children
Yes,
there,
yes.
hoping to get back alive and
Right.
bring them out from the
Correct.
convent.
Yes.
So at any rate, the head sister says, we don't have any. We don't have any.
Yeah.
Anyhow, knowing Rabbi Silver, he was a very determined person, very determined. He would not take no for an answer. So he says, I'm staying here. But after a while, he said to them, can you bring in all the students that you have? I want to see them and talk to them. Also, they brought in dozens and dozens of students there. They brought them in, and when they brought in the students, he didn't recognize any of them as Jewish, and couldn't talk their language. They spoke different languages. So anyhow, I had a brainstorm. And what was the brainstorm? He shouted out loud, "Oh, Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu," and they all answered, "Hashem Echad." They answered, in Hebrew. It was a clear sign to the sisters there that they were Jewish. Where did they learn the Shema Yisrael? They learned it from childhood. They heard it from their mother's lips.
Right.
Singing them Jewish lullabies. So he got out dozens and dozens of children came back with him. He arranged. He was very good friends with the senator from Cincinnati who ran for president. Also, he was hoping.
Right, to be president. So he was very close to him.
He was very close to him.
So politically he was connected.
He was politically well connected, right. So anyway, he was able to build a mikveh there in a certain area where he wanted it, where Jews opposed it. And protested the building. He got it through. He got it through. And he got through some people from Europe, refugees he was able to get through, although they wouldn't qualify according to the immigration laws. Then he got him through. He did a tremendous amount of good work.
Yeah.
He was a real leader.
Yes. He was one of our top leaders in Askanim, and besides his knowledge as a Rav and the Talmud Chacham.
There's a famous story they tell about him wanting to meet with the president.
Well, they went down in 1943.
Right, the president
March on Washington.
Right, March on Washington, right. At any rate, he arranged for the vice president to meet with him.
Right.
Later on, they found out that the president had a vacant calendar. He could have easily met him, but he didn't. He was not a great Ohev Yisrael.
That's right.
As he was reputed to be. Washington, he's not.
Who was the president at the time? Hoover?
No.
Truman?
No.
Truman was 45.
No, with Wallace.
Roosevelt. Yeah.
Roosevelt.
Right, Roosevelt. Right. Yeah. So what were you saying? So that the Rabbi Silver
was a great leader.
Yeah, I think he led wasn't he the leader of the whole all the Rabbanim that came.
He was chief rabbi in Cincinnati, and I got to meet with him,
Right.
Wow.
Did you know Rabbi Sharfstein? There was a Lubavitcher Rav there.
Yes.
Did you know him?
Yes.
You had a shaykhus, you had a connection? A little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there was also, for a while, a shaykhut. He came after the war, I think, Rabbi Yosef Goldstein. Do you have any recollection?
I don't remember.
I believe Rabbi Lazer Silver got him the visa to come out, and that's why he ended up in Cincinnati. Later he moved to New York.
I probably knew him,
Okay. There was another person who I want to ask you about. Yeah. He was the son of a big Chabad chassid. His name was Michael Walensky.
The name sounds.
He was at HUC, a professor and a maven of like manuscripts, I think. I guess and they brought him from Germany because he went to Germany after Russia, and they brought him over. They paid for him, and I have actually the documents in German. Where they write that we're going to pay, we want you to come. And he came to Cincinnati, but you don't remember his...
No, but there was a Chabad rabbi in Cincinnati.
Rabbi Sharfstein was the principal of the day school.
Of the day school under Rabbi Silver.
Yeah, is that the one you're talking to, or Sharfstein?
No, I was talking about Professor Michael Walensky of Vilensky. Michael Walensky at HUC. I guess you never heard of him. What year, Rebbitzin, what year did you marry your husband?
1952.
1952 you got married, okay? We refreshed ourselves on that. So, how long were you in Cincinnati? In other words, between no, I know you were born and raised, between Little Rock, Arkansas, where you were rabbi, right?
Yes.
First Stella.
Yes.
Well, the second Stella, Hot Springs, and then...
And Little Rock, by the way, that was Clinton territory.
Yeah, well, later.
Later, Clinton became the governor.
Right, and then the president. Anyway.
Later president.
Right, yeah.
Cincinnati, of Arkansas.
I know that. He was the governor. I know that.
Yeah.
But did you went right away from Little Rock? You went to the Stella in Dayton.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Now there's a story there too.
Okay.
The story is the shadchan was my father-in-law.
Right. He found you the job. He heard about a shul that needs
a shul that opened. He went there personally, recommended. He says, "I just want you to try him out." Yeah, invite him for a Shabbos. And it so happened they did. They listened to him. They invited me for a Shabbos. But later on, he regretted the fact that he rushed for them to hire me right away, because he found out there were 8 candidates for the position. And each candidate was about a space of 3 months.
What do you mean, a space of 3 months?
Before they heard one candidate, then
okay.
then the other.
Okay.
So they delayed answering me what the verdict was, whether
you'll be hired for the job.
So I knew nothing about it for about half a year.
Right.
So then half a year I get a surprise, a telephone call saying, Rabbi Fox, you're the unanimous selection. That was after nearly 6 months not hearing from them at all.
Okay, so that's why your father-in-law regretted it?
Yeah, he regretted it because he thought
they'll give you right away an answer.
I didn't get an answer. He says, the first candidate will be forgotten.
Right. Oh, you were the first candidate?
I was the first candidate.
Uh-huh.
So we had a number of others coming forward.
Right.
I said, "Oi, I made a mistake.
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
I should have had you being,
Right.
4th, 5th, 6th, the last."
I understand.
So he thought that Dayton was out.
Right.
So he was so surprised when they told him I got the position in Dayton.
Now, the pay at the time for a rabbi,
Yeah.
was it comparable to the pay of a lawyer?
No.
It was probably half or less, right?
Right, you are. Yeah, I took it because I really was an idealist. I didn't care much about the money. Didn't ask them for raises, anything. They like that part.
Yeah, well, having a rabbi who's doing it for the cause.
Yeah, I liked Rabbis from the early years.
Uh-huh.
You asked before, what drew you to the Rabbis?
Yeah.
I liked it as a student. I told you I spoke in different congregations in Milwaukee.
Right.
And some of them were large, like this shul in Chicago was, had
1,500 people,
Yeah.
Right. How many people so this shul in Dayton, was it a small, medium?
No, it was a pretty large shul at the time. I thought.
And an Orthodox?
Orthodox shul, right.
Had a mechitza the whole time?
Yes. Some question the mechitza, this and that. But yes, they had a mechitza. And
some shuls had a mechitza that were not 5 feet like a Moshe Paskind, but they were still Orthodox. Is that right?
yes.
Right. Now, who was the one? Which Orthodox rabbis gave that? Is that the RCA?
I was with the RCA.
Oh, the RCA. So the RCA did not require mechitza of 5 feet. Is that correct?
As far as I know.
As far as you know, right. And were there congregants that wanted it higher or not really? There was never an issue where congregants came to you and said, Rabbi, we want the mechitza higher.
No, quite the contrary. There are those later that fought against the mechitza altogether.
Yes.
They wanted it removed.
And how did you deal with it?
Well, I dealt with it. We made a mechitza in another area where the people can sit in the back.
You mean the mixed, the people, the mixed?
What?
You mean the people in the back?
No, we still had separate men
and women, but a lower mechitza.
But a mechitza in a different area.
Uh-huh.
And a mechitza, I think, out of flowers or something else.
Right.
I think
What about the use of a microphone, a Shabbos microphone?
Well, in the use of the Shabbos microphone, I had no microphone, so my voice carried. My son, who followed me, had
at that shul?
Yes.
Oh, really?
Yes.
He's the Rav there today?
No, but he was for 18 years.
The one that I met? No, he's a doctor, right?
He's a doctor. He's a well-known doctor, this one. Right.
What type of doctor is he?
Dermatology.
In New York.
New York, yeah.
Right, but you have another son who was in the rabbinate.
Right.
What was his name? What's his name?
Hillel
Fox.
Hillel Fox.
So when he took over, yeah.
Yeah. When he took over, he had an approved microphone by I'm trying to think the organization.
Oh, I know you're talking about out of Eretz Yisrael, Mechon. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Where they
validly approved.
drove up here for Shabbos.
Yes.
Right, I know what you're talking about.
Right.
I want to go back to 1929, 1930. You were a little boy, but you came that year. Your wife says you came. Do you recall the
ship was the Majestic.
Majestic?
Majestic.
Yeah, but I want to know if you remember Rabbi Yosef Yitzchak coming to I think he was in Milwaukee too in 1930. He visited. There was a Chabad shtibel in Milwaukee. Chabad in Sheboygan, right?
No, there was a Chabad shul in
Milwaukee too.
In Dayton, where I was Rav, and the Rav, and we were.
You're talking about Rabbi Shem Tov. Later, no? Or
later, still probably later.
Yeah.
And anyhow.
But you don't remember. You don't remember as a 5-6-year-old boy. Your father and people in shul talking about Rabbi Yosef Yitzchak Schneerson, the 6th Lubavitcher Rebbe, who came to visit Chicago, Detroit, St. Louis, Milwaukee in 1930. You have no. You don't have no recollection of that.
No.
Right. I wrote a book about that. I wrote a book about. It's called Chabad and Orthodoxy, 1900 to 1950. And
But I do want to say in regard to Chabad, the head Rav in Chabad in Cincinnati, he sent a Rav to establish himself in Dayton.
Yeah, you're talking about Rabbi Kalmanson?
Yes.
Right, that's much later. That's in the 70s.
Okay. So he sent someone
To come to Dayton.
He told him, go see Rabbi Fox. He'll help you.
Uh-huh.
He told him that.
Yeah, you were friendly with Lubavitch, right? You were,
yeah, sure. Right. Anyhow, he came to me, and I remember we encouraged him, we helped him with the Sefer Torah that he needed to get started, and so on. We helped him.
Was that Shem Tov?
No.
Mangel?
Mangel.
Yeah, that's his son-in-law. I think that's the son-in-law of Rabbi Kalmanson.
Is his son-in-law?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know the family.
Right, that's the one. Mangel. You're right.
So let's go back now. So you become Rav in the early 1950s. How long after your marriage will you become Rav in Dayton?
After marriage? Well, when I left
Little Rock.
After about 4 years in Little Rock.
Right, 6 months. 6 months later, you became Rav.
Right.
Right, and that.
No. I was Rav. I was Rav already in
Little Rock.
Little Rock. Right.
No, I know that, but then you said you went for the Stella. It took 6 months till they called you to give you the job. And you were, and your father-in-law said you were married already. Your wife said in 52 you're married.
Right.
So 44. Yeah. So it was around that time.
Yes.
Right. It wasn't before you were married. It's your father-in-law who told you about the position. So you were there from like 52 or 50, right? From that year on till you retired.
Right.
So now, looking back.
Yes.
What would you say was your biggest accomplishment that you in your life?
Well, I would say for one thing that I sent a number of students to yeshivas, both boys and girls. I sent them to yeshivas, and they were makir that, for instance.
They're what? Makir?
Makir, right.
They recognize.
Right.
You makir tova to you for doing that. They recognize that you did that for them.
Yeah, one is the head of a yeshiva in Israel.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So anyhow.
Yeah.
At yeshiva in Israel, and my grandson, He gives shiurim at Mir Yeshiva
Wow.
in Israel.
Wow. What's his name?
Our Grand Moshe Dov Fox.
Yeah, he's a Maggid Shir in Mir in Yerushalayim.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yeshiva has been doing that now for a few years, and also other yeshivas.
So he's right-wing Haredi.
Right. And more.
He outdid his Zayda.
He sure did. And more. He's a big Talmid Chacham. And more yeshivas want him. Maybe, I think he's giving shiur in 2-3 yeshivas.
Uh-huh. So he lives in Eretz Yisrael.
Yeah. He was now in Eretz Yisrael, right? Now, the Rosh Yeshiva there told...
Rabbi Finkel.
No, it was not... No, Rabbi Finkel was the head of the...
He still is. This goes son after son.
Right,
son, grandson,
right.
But you mean another...
Another yeshiva.
Right.
Right now, the yeshiva one was named after another one of my Rabbeim, Kreisworth.
Oh, you had Rabbi Kreisworth? That's right. In Chicago, Rabbi Kreisworth was a Maggid Rosh Yeshiva.
Right, you get Rosh Yeshiva.
Yeah, he was a big Talmid Chacham.
Big Talmid Chacham, right. He's written up,
Yeah.
Farmer Kreisworth one, and and another one was that I liked very much was, trying to think, he later went to Yeshiva University. It took him away from Chicago after.
Who, David Lifshitz?
Yes, exactly. He was a favorite of mine.
Big Talmid Chacham.
Big Talmid Chacham.
Talking about big Talmid Chacham.
Yeah, I had a close relationship with him. He'd call me and write to me. So David Lifshitz liked him. I loved him. He was very good.
So you're saying that the first accomplishment, that the most, is that you were zeicha, you merited to send boys and girls, students, to yeshivas.
Right.
From Dayton, Ohio, which didn't have a yeshiva.
That's correct. That's correct. We started one here, and I remember one of the leaders of the yeshiva movement in New York, trying to think his name, leader came to Dayton, and
Rabbi Gifter? No, Rabbi Gifter was in Cleveland.
Cleveland, right. Anyhow, he, at any rate, his organization came up with some seed money to help us get started.
Get started with what?
With Yeshiva Ktana.
Oh, so you made Yeshiva Ktana.
Yes. And
this was under your auspices?
Under my auspices.
Uh-huh.
Right.
Like a day school?
Yes.
The learning was what? The learning was a day school level, or was it yeshiva learning?
Well, it
probably was day school.
At first, right?
Yeah.
At first, and from that, it evolved into a high school.
Was it also under Torah Masorah?
Exactly. Under Torah Masorah. So the head of Torah Masorah, Mir, who was the head of the day school movement?
Well, it was Shraga Feibel Mendelovitz, but that's
no.
Rabbi Levy?
No.
Okay, whoever.
Yeah.
I can't.
Well, remind. It's fine.
Kamenetsky.
Yeah.
Oh, Rabbi. That's right. That's Kamenetsky.
You're right.
Yes, I know. Yes.
Anyhow, he stayed at our house and so on, and we now getting started with yeshiva wasn't easy, because you would think the shul would want it.
We only had 5 kids.
Yeah, 5 kids, including our son.
Right.
Who,
Hillel?
The one that you met.
Oh, the doctor.
The doctor, right.
What's his first name?
Joshua.
Yeshua Fox, yes.
He's a well-known doctor you'll find in New York.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
I could use him for my dermatology issues. Yeah, anyway.
Okay, yeah. So at any rate.
So you had 5 kids, and it wasn't easy because there was opposition, right?
Right.
Why are you doing this? Why aren't the kids going to public school?
Right, exactly. And the community, Jewish community leaders opposed it. They didn't want, in our shul, first of all, they felt to take away funds from them.
Right.
They realized it would cost. There's a cost involved.
What they get cost?
Yeah, even though we're not charging them anything.
Charging who? The children?
The organization.
Oh, the organization.
Yeah.
The organization to help you.
To help, right. So there was no charge. We didn't charge. I try to avoid, costs.
Yeah.
For Jewish education as much as possible.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Special.
Yeah.
I wish it would be this way today.
Yeah.
A little bit, abyssal.
Abyssal.
It is outrageous, the tuition amounts that the yeshivas and day schools.
That
20,000. It's the chmamish. You gotta make $400,000 a year.
And somebody has 5 kids or some percentage.
$150,000 for
It's
tuition.
Outrageous. Where does he get that kind of money? So it should be subsidized.
Subsidized, yeah.
Yeah, so I always try to subsidize it. So at any rate, they held that the community leaders, didn't want the yeshiva. They held it against me. And also even members of my own synagogue didn't want it there. They said children break things, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
So they didn't want it.
Children are children, right. They didn't want it. They didn't want it. It was in the shul premises.
The shul, in our shul, you're right. That's where it started.
Uh-huh.
But later on, I also involved the
Balabatim?
also
Federation?
I involved the other congregations as well,
Uh-huh.
conservative and reform,
to
send their children here. So this became a community school.
Okay.
Community school, and there they had to do things they wouldn't otherwise wear kippos.
Whatever.
Yeah, right. So we compromised it that at that time, Sunday, they could go to their school and you teach you what you want.
Oh, you mean to their like Sunday school,
Sunday
the reform
school.
or conservative stuff?
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly,
So you
right.
could do whatever, but Monday through Friday.
That school's run by Torah Masorah, right, under their leadership. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So, we drew a lot of...
Did Reb Schneier Cutler ever come out? The Rabbi Cutler's son, Reb Aaron Cutler's son, Reb Schneier, did he ever come out? Because
no.
he was, I think, the head or very also involved in Torah Masorah.
I don't remember.
You don't remember that?
No, but I remember the leader of
Kamenetsky, Rabbi Kamenetsky. Yeah, he came out.
He came out, yeah.
Right. Do you remember ever hearing Reb Aaron Cutler speak? Did you ever meet him?
Yes, he spoke, and I remember...
Where?
It wasn't clear. I think it was in Chicago one time.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And Reb Moshe, you met Reb Moshe Feinstein too?
Yeah, not Moshe Feinstein, yeah. I remember I was invited to his grandson's bris.
Mm-hmm. Rabbi Tendler?
Rabbi Tendler was the son-in-law, right.
Right.
It's actually Rabbi Tendler that invited me.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
Rabbi Mordechai Tendler. No, the Mordechai Tendler's father.
Yeah.
Get his first name now.
That's
right.
That was the father.
Right.
Mordechai.
What about... we spoke about Rabbi Silver. We spoke about Moshe.
Right.
We spoke about Rabbi Gifter. You knew Rabbi Gifter from Cleveland.
Yeah, well, I knew of him.
But he never came to
No.
right.
No, right.
Because he's in Ohio as well.
Right.
He's in Cleveland.
Yeah.
How far is Cleveland from Dayton?
Cleveland from Dayton, I'd say about 300 miles.
300 miles. And
Yeah, but Rabbi, you mentioned Feinstein, yeah, my children went to Cincinnati, so we mentioned the Chabad rabbi there.
Rabbi Kalmanson.
Yeah, no.
Rabbi Sharfstein.
Sharfstein was there.
He
my children.
Right, because in the day school.
Day school.
How far is Cincinnati from Dayton?
Oh, it's about 50 miles.
50. So they went. I thought you said your son Shmuel Joshua was the first a student in the day school, but maybe before or after he went to the school in Cincinnati. The Cincinnati school was started by who? By Rabbi Eliezer Silver, right? Right, and he had Rabbi Sharfstein be his principal.
Right, and he had a yeshiva there, Eitz Chaim, and my father-in-law was one of the founders of Eitz Chaim Yeshiva.
In Cincinnati. Yeah. Any other Rabbanim or Gedolim or Rabbis? Which Rebbe came? Which Rebbes? Anyone came to Dayton? No Hasidic Rebbes came there.
Yes, the Twersky.
The Twersky from Milwaukee.
No, Twersky from Chicago came to Dayton, and the
Fear Tish.
Fear Tish, right? And a Tish. Something like that he would give out.
Shrayim. The
Shrayim,
food that's called
right?
Shrayim, yeah.
And also gave 10 cents or something to everybody, gave a dime, but he got much more in return.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, we're going to take a break for a moment now. We've had a wonderful first part of our interview with Rabbi Fox, of Shmuel Fox, who was a Rav in Dayton, Ohio for over 60 years. And Baruch Hashem, the cup arbeit stark, the memory arbeit, and the moil arbeit, and it's gewaldig. We'll see you soon.
Thank you.